Hey Martin, you told me you were never gonna play Wonderwall again. Well, I said maybe you're gonna be the one that... Drums are super fun. And I can make all of these sound by dropping marbles onto the drums. That sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. However, there's a special, very important part of drumming that I can't make with a marble. It's the shaker. Listen to what happens when we add a shaker to a standard drum beat. A similar sound to the shaker is the tambourine. It also has this back and forth motion to create a sound. My big dream is to create a marble machine that plays live music on stage using marbles. And I want that machine to have this cool shaker sound. So in this video I'm going to experiment to see if I can make this motion using mechanics only. Let's shake things up. This is the digital design of the marble machine so far. If we zoom in down here by the drums, we can see that there's actually a shaker module already being represented here. And this shaker module is driven by this rotating shaft. How can we transform rotary motion to rocking motion? My first idea is this. A simple linkage system. Let's try. So this axis here is this thing. So now I want to make this part. And while I'm doing that, I want to say a huge thanks to all the Wintergatan patrons and YouTube members who are supporting these videos. Thank you. So blue rubber band for blue shaker. I'm taking care of everyone with OCD in this audience, which is probably all of you. So it doesn't sound so good. It sounds ka-dek-ka-dek-ka-dek-ka-dek. It doesn't sound da-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. Let's try a bit faster. It doesn't sound good. Perhaps we should add some weight here. It's still badoop, badoop, badoop. It's not chaka, chaka, chaka. We're gonna try something new. We're gonna move this so that it creates very little motion. There we go. And after all, this doesn't sound good. We're gonna make it better. So here's a second version of the prototype, brand new design. I've replaced this pivoting part with this linear slider that goes back and forth like this. And when we take the link and add it to the slider, we get a back and forward motion. There's a tightness here, perhaps this one. Oh yes, this screw was too tight. Now it's loose everywhere. That's good. To increase force, I want to increase travel of this carriage by moving this pivot further out from the center here. I moved this, now we have a much longer travel. I think the cool kids are calling this throw. It doesn't sound good. It has this kind of jazzy blues swing thing that I don't want it to have. Badoop, 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 badoop. Shaker solo. Take it away, mechanical shaker. Yeah. Close, but not good enough. We have to make better than this. There's an issue with this kind of design. To understand this issue, let's see how a shaker actually works. Inside the shaker are small beads that move around. And the sound is coming from when the marbles hits the walls. To make the sound, we push the marbles over and then it hits the other walls. And the harder it hits the other wall, the louder the sound. So to make a good sound, we want the back and forth movement to be immediate. We want the turn to be fast. But look what happens if I slow down before turning. Almost no sound. I don't want the shaker to decelerate right before the moment the marbles are hitting the walls, right? Unfortunately, that's exactly what it does. So if I'm turning this pivot 45 degrees like this, we can read here on the scale that we're moving kind of 6 centimeters. But check what happens when I do these 45 degrees like this. It moves 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter on this part and 6 centimeters here. The shaker moves fast here in the middle and then decelerates, slows down before changing direction. That's the opposite of what we want for a good mechanical shaker. Here's a great visualization showing the exact same thing, and you can see the deceleration right before the turn. So here's a video from Jay Gold on rotary to linear motion mechanisms, and there are different versions. There are versions that doesn't slow down before the turn. This is a really cool example. Here we will have almost no deceleration before the carriage turns. However, I think this would make a huge sound. Clack, there, it would be like a huge bang. Here, clack. And then we have the cam and follower versions. And this is really interesting because here we can make any kind of pattern. So what I don't like with this is that we need a counteracting force to make the follower follow the cam. In this case, they're using gravity. But there's a way of using a cam without the need of a counteracting force. We can take these shapes and put it on a cylinder. Cylinder is rotating and this ridge is causing the follower to go back and forth, and we don't need a counteracting force. Here's another example of the same thing. Another example. Here's another example. And another example. So if you hear a noise in the background, it's because I'm printing this. What makes me so excited about this idea is that we can program any kind of musical pattern we want. Let's try a third design. We got a flywheel and we got this, and I'm really excited to see if this works better. I split this design in 2 parts and I'm gonna put them together with these guide pins. So with the pieces together, we have this cam follower groove. And this should result in a change of direction with no deceleration before the change. My plan is to use a bearing as a reader at the end of a stick and have the bearing read the cam grooves back and forth like this into the groove. We should see a back and forth moment. Cool. I left quite a lot of slack in here for the groove. And at the turning points, I think that might be a problem. You can see how it shakes at the turning points. I'm actually a bit nervous here. I really want this to be better. Already a better sound. It's already much more distinct because of the no deceleration in the turns. I'm loving this so far. There are several issues with this. Because of this slack, it does it. It's not clean, but it's tighter than before. So here's the slack we want to reduce. Okay, this is really cool. I think this system has proven to be the better one. However, we're not out of the weeds yet. Obviously, we have a huge issue with mechanical noise from the follower hitting the cam here. Should we try it with the tambourine? Right. A shaker tambourine module can really put life into the groove. I'm gonna bring up the shaker mid-groove, listen to the difference. What is actually making a shaker sound musical? If you only do it back and forth, it sounds like this. That sounds okay, but classical shaker groove is called cacophony. Cacophony, 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 cacophony. That is 3 different sounds strung together. And the coolest thing with the third prototype we made today, with the cam follower idea, is that we can program more sounds. We could make a dynamic tambourine and we could make the cacophony. Is this feature creep? No, because you know why? I want to make a mechanical machine that sounds tactile, that sounds musical, that sounds like it's intelligent, that sounds like it has a soul. And the difference between a shaker having a soul is... and... is that bells and whistles? No, because do you know why? That difference is what makes me have fun. Do you think that I've been tinkering today? Oh yes, Tinkerer, that was my name. Last spring I tried to teach myself to work more structured. I tried to internalize more classical design process than what I'm used to, so I learned about design requirements. I have a 50-page design requirement document that I'm basing all my work on. So what I've been doing today is that I haven't tried to design the shaker and tambourine module. I've been trying to determine if I should include a module like this in the machine at all. The fastest way for me to get to this answer was to do a physical prototype. And most of all, it's also really fun. And in this document, I've also defined the goal of this entire project. Like, why am I doing this at all? And it's to have fun. To really succeed with this project, I think I need to combine 2 ways of working. First of all, I need to go back to my original way of working, which is that I'm very governed by lust and creativity. On the other hand, I know that this project is too complicated to be executed by lust and creativity only. So I also need to incorporate this more theoretical way of working that I learned last spring. So I need to combine the 2, and I feel really good about making that happen. And if we zoom out a bit more, I've been thinking a lot during the summer. I took a long break to deal with some stuff in my private life, and I'm really, really happy where things are going on that front, as you can probably tell. I'm really ready to engage with this Marble Machine project full speed ahead again, because I do think that we all deserve seeing this machine finished. I deserve it. I spent 8 years on this. And I also think all of you deserve seeing this project finalized. Imagine Lord of the Rings trilogy movie ends when Frodo is being eaten by the spider. You know, that's not the movie I want us all to enjoy together. I want to finish this shit, okay? Currently, I think I want to include this shaker module. Next video, I'm so excited for the next video because I'm gonna film the shaker movement in slow motion, and I'm gonna map it out on a chart, and I'm gonna translate that to a physical cam groove that can play the cacophony rhythm on the shaker and the accented beat on the tambourine. I want to say a huge thanks to all the Wintergatan backers. Your support is absolutely invaluable for these videos. Thank you so much. Today is gonna be the day that we're gonna throw it back to you. By now, Mama sent around, it's a large falafel meal for 2.